Just looking back at the Oklahoma game after film study, what was it that you guys saw maybe before the game to think that the runs up the middle would work? And it seemed to be just during the game they weren't working very well, yet you guys were really trying to pound it in there.
Yeah, so we had a couple hit early, and each week you look at running the ball, throwing the ball, mixing it up, and sometimes you have to. There's plays that you hit that early in the game might not be good, that might open up later. Unfortunately, we weren't good enough and didn't have as much, success there. And they're good on defense too. So, there's been other times where we've had where gains early in the game, runs early in the game have been that way, and then they popped. This season. So yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get in a good rhythm in any case. And but yeah.
Hindsight can obviously be 20/20, but are there any particular calls or situations that you look back to from Saturday where you're like, hey, I'd kind of like to have that back, do it over maybe?
Yeah, we were on to these guys now, but yeah, you look back every week and probably say that. But there's a fine line in second guessing yourself or obviously looking and becoming and looking into it and becoming better. There's certain. They do a good job on defense where where they'll bring zones and they'll bring blitzes and drop guys out, and the ones that you really look at as a play caller is if you're looking there and there's nothing available either with the first guy or the second guy, and there might have been one play like that, but they're good too. But yeah, you have to go back and continue to evaluate, and depending on the defense, like this week too, just making sure we're giving our guys the best chance to operate, run game or pass game wise.
When the protection struggles, kind of like it has at times this year, how much does that affect how you play call during a game and kind of change from what it is you normally want to do going into it?
Yeah, well, protection involves everybody. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just the running backs. It's the quarterback getting the ball out on time. It's the receivers getting open on time. It's all of us as coaches and players, and making sure that we, the protection's probably going to be a lot better on 1st and 10 than it is on 2nd and long or 3rd and long. So staying out of those situations, you try to get a balance each and every week in that regard, and try to stay ahead of the chains. I think on our drives and throughout the year, you would say when we're staying ahead of the chains and not getting behind them, you have all those things are you're protecting better. The ball's coming out. So, and there's different kinds of protections too. So you look into different protections. You look into making sure that you try your best not to put your guys in a bad matchup situation, protection wise. So different ways you can do that, and it's all hands on deck in regards to having the different protections.
Early in the season, you guys hit on a couple deep passes, and I'm curious, how do you balance right now as a play caller of wanting to have some of those deep shots? The one to Van Dravius ended up in a PI, and that worked out well, but also knowing, hey, I don't know how many I can call of these because I'm not sure how long Lenore's is going to have. Yeah,
no, that's a good question. Again, you want to stretch the field. You want to have the defense have to cover the whole field in regard to, down the field, intermediate, short, sidelines, all that kind of stuff. You want to help your linemen where you're not just saying, hey, we want to throw the ball down the field and you got to protect, because that's not advantageous either. So you got to have a good mix in that, and running game helps in that too. So, you need to. There is a balance, a delicate balance, and the other thing that's you have to make sure as a play caller is you don't quite leave things too early in the game and just kind of like, hey, we got to just throw it on every down, which is hard if you're not, if you don't have the lead and things like that. So, those are things we continue to look at, and we do it based on, hey, what's the best thing for our players? What gives them the best chance to operate? Is it throwing it every down, or is it, hey, mixing in runs, mixing in inside runs, outside runs, draws, screens, things like that?
Mike, when you just have a year where it seems like you can't keep an offensive lineman healthy, is there anything you can do as a coach in practice and stuff to say, well, we got to try to help this, or is it just freak accidents happening during the games.
Oh, as far as injury wise, yeah, no, it's hard. I mean, God, I wish I had an answer to that, because I've been on years on teams where you've had nobody get hurt, or they've been a little bit beat up, but and then I've been on teams where you've had guys get hurt in pregame warmups of the first game of the season and be out for the whole year, or the first game of preseason, first game of regular season. So, yeah, but I mean, that's why you have to build depth. That's why you have to coach everybody. And in college, it's a little bit different because the guys are younger. So you have to give some of those younger guys a few more reps than maybe you would do with if you had in the NFL when guys are a little bit older. So, because guys are, they're coming right out of high school, and they don't have a lot of experience. So you got to try to give it to them the best I can.
You've said a couple times about trying to put guys in advantageous situations, run or pass. And it might be hard to quantify, but just over the course of 7 games, how much have you guys kind of struggled that way in making sure that guys are put in good positions to succeed?
Yeah, it's hard to say that. I mean, we try to do that, all the time. Like I said, there's maybe a couple plays that you like here and there, and/or like scheme wise. But I would say that, again, it's not, we're not saying, hey, we got to be better, or we're not doing this. We don't have our head in the sand regarding to, hey, we're going to do this no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. We want to find out what's the best thing you do, and then put you on the field doing that thing. And sometimes you try to do that all the time. Sometimes you can't, maybe based on whatever happened, all the different things that come up in the game, injuries, maybe a little different scheme that you got to like adjust to, because maybe what you thought was going to be really good is not overall good for everybody. So, I couldn't put a number on it, but yeah, when you're not playing well and having the success, those are all things that, we look at those, whether or not we're, scoring on every drive or not. Those are things we evaluate each and every week. So.
Mike, when you're getting deep into the red zone, how much thought or temptation goes into maybe just having Lenoris run the ball, considering what he can do in that regard? Yeah,
no, we have those. We've done that, and he's a weapon, both running the ball and throwing the ball. But you also don't necessarily want to run. Like, he ran the ball, I think, a couple times, 22 times, I think, a couple games ago. And I don't know if that's the best thing for him. He's physical, he's tough, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you want to use him as a weapon. And when you do that, put him, have a scheme up where, it's not necessarily what you might have the, our normal running backs run. You want to have him run things that are just maybe a little bit, so to speak, cleaner. Those running backs are used to those dirty runs, so to speak, those ones where they just got to kind of halfway run through somebody. So you don't want to do that for him. But there's different ways you can do that. There's quarterback draws, there's counters, there's outside runs, and then a couple other ways to do it.
Seems like even when offenses are going well, everybody hates the play caller. Have you lost any self-confidence in yourself? Do you still kind of just believe in your philosophies and principles and everything that you've grown to know over the years?
Yeah, you have to have confidence. So what do we ask our players to do, right? We ask our players to have confidence, believe in themselves, keep working hard, believe and trust in what they're doing and their guys around them. And so if we do that as coaches, if we ask our players to do that, we have to do the same thing. Plus, we have so much, there's so much each week to have to dial in and be really good in preparation. You don't have time to kind of think about, hey, being down on yourself, or what's, this is being said or that. You just kind of know. You sign up for this coaching and playing because you love football. And you sign up because you love to compete. And if I take time away from preparing to help our football team compete and go win games, then I'm cheating everybody around me, and I can't. I won't do that.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Are there any changes you're hoping to implement going into these next few games to spark some more production/consistency?
Sure. Yes.
There are plays, where it seems like you're trying to get things going quick, but it doesn't seem like Lenore always hits those, whether it's the pressure coming or doesn't see those. Do you have to run more of those plays, the quick slants, getting things open quick, or is that something you can just coach and say, hey, this is open, we just need to hit it?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, there's things that in an ideal world, and like if you were an offensive lineman, that'd be a great question from an offensive lineman. Yeah, you want to get the ball out fast as much as you can. Defenses know that too, so there's certain things that they play that doesn't really allow you to kind of get the ball out fast on every play, where you're gaining yards down the field. So you try to tie those in with different looks, whether or not it's from the running game, whether or not it's a similar look where you've thrown the ball down the field and now it comes out fast. But yeah, those decisions as our quarterback is make decisions that keep us out of long yardage and obviously keep the ball moving forward. So, and we've talked about this before with a guy like Lenore's. You want him to get the ball out fast. Don't take sacks. Get the ball out fast. Don't take sacks. And then all of a sudden he makes a guy miss in the pocket, maybe because of whatever reason, a guy that there's, maybe it's a little bit off schedule and the guy gets pressure a little bit earlier than we thought, and then he makes the guy miss and runs for 20 yards. So you have to kind of live with that a little bit, but we just got to do a better job overall. And yes, mix those quick games in and continue to do that with the other stuff and just have good balance and then make good decisions that keep us out of the long yardage.
I'm sure obviously you coached against this team last year, and you're familiar with coaching against teams that you've been a part of in the past. How does this game, or what does this game mean to you just personally with given your background with Alabama and all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's, played there and coached there and have a lot of memories there and have a lot of friends from both there. So from the state and from the school. So have some really, really dear friends in Birmingham that are kind of like brother and sister to me. And so there's a lot of those things that kind of like, the question earlier that kind of go through your mind during the course of a week like this, but you got to stay focused and you got to be, number one thing is we're playing a really, really good team and a really, really good defense. So, our guys are excited for it. We're excited for it. The guys love to compete. And yes, we know we're not where we need to be. We got to pick ourselves off the floor. But it's been so consistent. And I know you guys kind of like, oh yeah, he's just saying that. But coaches said the same thing. It's our guys work hard. They practice hard. In the meetings like this, they're looking you in the eye and they're willing to do everything and anything. And they've done a good job. And sure, they're frustrated, but they're not discouraged. And they want to do whatever they can to get better individually and as a team. And to go back to, I didn't mean to be short with your answer or with my answer. Yeah, we're looking at that all with all that stuff with different personnel, looking at different combinations of players, whether or not it's skill players, running backs or wide receivers or tight ends. And on the offensive line, you don't see it as much. But we've had a lot of guys play this year, so actually that's the one position where we'd like to try to be a little more consistent. And in the meantime, we're still finding out about guys, even guys that played last week that maybe we never saw on the field before, and they did a good job. So maybe see some of those guys too.